for the food thing, the made in Ohio kind of thing. Because basically, it's, there's certain things that kind of stick with you, and they really don't sit well with you, and then later on you kind of regret that you ever had them. My story is titled Barnyard Buster. And it really doesn't start at TJ's, it actually starts at the Palace Theater. And my friend Brandy and I went to see David Sedaris at the Palace Theater a few years ago. And I really love David Sedaris because there's something about, I relate to him a lot, the whole kind of effeminate-ish gay guy, writer-ish kind of guy, speech therapy, list thing. So I really kind of related to him, and I always wanted to kind of find a way to describe him, see how I would describe him to myself. He's talented, he's interesting, kind of a gnome. But, so we go to see him, everything's great, we're going to go and we're going to talk to him afterwards, because he has this long line of people. And so you have to wait for an hour at least. And the Book Loft had kind of sponsored it, so I ended up buying a book from the Book Loft that was there. Taking up there, you have your little sheet of paper, you write your name on it, and so forth. And, we waited in line forever. And so we were all kind of texting back and forth as far as, what are we going to do? And Sarah had sent me a text that I should ask him to sign my keener. And I didn't really think that would be appropriate, but it might be a good icebreaker. So we finally, after a long time of kind of going back and forth, we get up there, and I'm kind of nervous. Like, what am I going to say to David Sedaris? It's like my author hero, and so I hand him my book, which was Barrel Fever, and I get out the line like, my friend Sarah said that I should have you sign my P. And he looks up really purposely and goes, let me ask you something. Have y'all ever heard of a place called TJ's? And he says it in that weird Raleigh accent that he has. Kind of like the rooster, that when he impersonates the rooster, his brother, he uses that. That's how he speaks. And we're kind of like, the restaurant? And oh, yeah. Like, yeah? Well, have you ever heard a thing of something called a Barnyard Buster? And I was really confused. It was like going to a salesperson in a very fine men's outlet where you're supposed to buy suits, and he talks about cream of wheat. And I really didn't understand what the heck was going on. It's like a Barnyard Buster. And I'm like, it's drunk food. And the reason why, granted, the reason why I knew it was drunk food, it's drunk food. And the thing was, I was kind of transported at that point because a Barnyard Buster changed my life. It completely changed the course of my entire history. When I moved to Columbus, the first guy I was ever in love with, first person, I was 22, 23, and I would have done anything for him. And he wanted to come to Columbus. And I was like, okay, let's go. The problem was he was an alcoholic. And wow, that was bad. And it continued on for like 2 years. And we worked at the same place. We worked second shift. So we would work. After work, we'd go drink. After drinking, we'd go eat. So we would go to this place in Grove City, and then afterwards we would walk across the street to the TJ's. And eventually we had friends that would go participate in this ridiculous drunkenness that we would do. And so we were all sitting around the table once, the life-changing moment. And it was like, we're all having this nice conversation, and Chris ordered a Barnyard Buster. And he was really into it. And so we're all sitting there talking, and I heard one of the girls sitting next to me kind of gasp. And I'm thinking, drunk guy, Barnyard Buster, and a gasp. And I'm thinking, 3 a.m., he's going to throw up all over himself. And so I look over at him, and he has taken the plate with the Barnyard Buster, and he has lifted it perpendicular to the table. And he is licking every bit of gravy off of the plate, and then sets it down. And then he gives this self-satisfied look, because everybody is staring at him in complete shocked silence. He's like, what? And I was like, you have some on your face. He's going, completely missing the gravy on his chin, and his nose, and his eyebrows. I handed him a napkin, and I thought, it is over. It is over. And it was over. It's kind of like, do you guys remember the old cartoon Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And there's like the opening credits, and there's like this big pile of whipped cream, and their tongue comes out and goes, and it reveals the dog, and it revealed Chris. And I'm standing there in front of David Sedaris, completely speechless, as he hands me back my book. And he goes, well, tonight's your night. Maybe you two should go have a Barnyard Buster at TJ's. Good night. And that's it. And I'm like, I could have told him that story. But I didn't. And of course, as we're walking away, I hear our friend Jen walk up to him and speak perfect French. And goes, oh, what a lovely accent. I'm thinking, that bitch! So we walk out of the car, and of course I relate this story to Brandy. I let her know the whole story. And, I'm looking at my book. It's like, well, at least I got his autograph. And so, I open up the book, and I look down, and there's a skull and crossbones stamp on it, and it says, to Jared, you are going to die. And I think, David Sedaris, what a fucking asshole.